From WNDU, your breaking news and weather authority, this is News Center 16 at 6.
Terrorism has yet again placed the world in a state of shock after explosions rocked the Brussels airport and a subway station. Good evening, I'm Maureen McFadden.
And I'm Terry McFadden. More than 30 people have been killed and dozens more injured, and a European capital is now on lockdown. Tonight, we have extensive coverage of the Brussels terror attacks.
But first, major stories are breaking here in Michiana. Murder charges in the Goshen double murder, plus an arrest in a nearly 2-month-old South Bend murder investigation.
We turn now to Maria Catanzarite, and we're talking about the Jody Henderson murder.
Yes, exactly. And today we learned the name of the man charged with Henderson's death, and that would be 23-year-old Jabri Cash Davis Martin. He faces a count of murder in the death of Jody Henderson, a National Guardsman who served our nation overseas. Police found his dead body the morning of January 16th in the 1200 block of Soren. Now, how the two men knew each other, that isn't clear at this point, but police found a video somebody took the night of Henderson's murder. It shows people at a party held at Davis Martin's home, and at one point, Jody Henderson talks about being in love with Jabri Davis Martin, and somehow Jabri caught wind of that. He found Henderson and hit him with home furniture, and this information coming from the county prosecutor. Davis Martin went to another party telling a few people what he just did to Jody, but he didn't stop there. He came home, found Henderson lying on Soren Street. Witnesses say they saw Davis stomp on the victim's head several times, also repeatedly punching him. The County Metro Homicide Commander commended Henderson for his military service, but he added, saying his unit's going to get to the bottom of any case, no matter somebody's background.
What his sexual orientation was doesn't make any difference. Don't care if he has a criminal record or does have a criminal record. It makes no difference. We're doing it for the right reasons.
And the murder investigation is still ongoing.
All right, and a lot of folks might consider this a hate crime.
Well, the thing is, Indiana actually doesn't recognize hate crimes. There's no distinction between the reasons for a person's murder, just that the crime occurred in the first place.
All right, Maria, thanks a lot.
Vados Locos is the name of the gang believed to be tied to the recent double homicide in Goshen. That information became public today as formal murder charges were filed. Mark Peterson joins me in the studio. Mark, this is shaping up to be a circumstantial case.
One thing clear from these court documents, there are no confessions, apparently no slam dunk witness who saw it all, just a series of curious coincidences and, for now, protected information from confidential sources.
Approximately 20 minutes before the murders, an internet search was allegedly done to find an image of one of the murder victims, 27-year-old Jose Nava. That search was done on the phone of accused killer Luis Rivas, according to court documents. It's also alleged that 15 minutes after the murders took place, the other suspect, 22-year-old Diego Ramos, phoned his mom and demonstrated intimate knowledge of the crime, telling her that Jose Nava was dead. Both suspects denied any affiliation with the gang Vatos Locos, although court documents allege at least one demonstrated knowledge of current gang traditions and practices.
Court documents also mention some of the other items found on the phone of Luis Rivas, including several pictures of a unique weapon believed to be used in this crime.
Okay, so did we learn who allegedly fired the shots, or were they both involved?
We did not shed light on that situation. In fact, the charging document quotes it's believed both aided, included, or caused each other collectively to commit this crime of murder. It's unclear who did what.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Hundreds of people gathered in the center of Brussels tonight to pay tribute to the victims of a series of blasts in the Belgian capital, which killed at least 30 people and injured scores of others. People lit candles and laid flowers, notes, and Belgian flags as an act of solidarity. ISIS claimed responsibility for the morning attacks and occurred just 4 days after Brussels police had captured the prime surviving suspect in the terror attacks on Paris last November. An all points has been issued for a young man in a hat who was caught on camera pushing a luggage trolley at the airport in Brussels alongside two others who investigators say had later blown themselves up in the terminal. Meanwhile, the soft targets outside Brussels airport and metro line raises questions about civilian security in Europe and here in the United States. We spoke with one former South Bend resident living in Brussels who says they're not letting the attack define the city. News Center 16's Tricia Hart has more.
It's been a weird day for a lot of people.
Now living just a few blocks away from the Brussels airport.
People were on edge, were edgy, looking around.
Former South Bend resident Hendrik Radams was on his way into the city when word of the attacks broke.
The sentiment here is don't worry about it. Don't give those guys the attention, the time of the day. Don't worry about what they did.
Back here in the States, the Department of Homeland Security tweeting that it will not hesitate to adjust its security posture. The same sentiment from Senator Dan Coats, who released a statement saying, quote, "We also must take steps to strengthen our border security and entry procedures to protect our homeland from domestic terrorist attacks."
We're far more likely to die in a car accident or...
But Notre Dame professor Michael Desch says the situation in Europe is different than in the U.S.
The wrong response would be to take measures that further alienate and isolate the local Muslim populations in Europe. And candidly, Europe has a problem with religion that we don't have here in the United States.
Desch runs the university's International Security Center, telling News Center 16 soft target attacks like Brussels seek disproportionate responses from host countries. On local train lines and even at regional airports, representatives say there are no credible threats in the U.S. and the motto for now is see something, say something.
Tricia Hart reporting there, and stay with News Center 16 on air and online as we follow the situation in Europe closely. And tonight on NBC Nightly News, Lester Hope will anchor a 1-hour special edition with the latest on the Brussels terror attacks. Well, the sun came out this afternoon and things warmed up nicely. Will it last, Mike?
Well, yes and no. We're going to see those mild temperatures at least for the next 36 hours, but then we do go back to chillier temperatures again. But in the meantime, let's enjoy the evening. It's definitely going to be mild and dry this evening. You can see nothing showing up on 16 Doppler Max. So in my hour-by-hour forecast, we're going to see partly cloudy skies as we head through the latter parts of the evening. Temperature by 11, still 52 degrees. Not bad at all for this time of the year. I'll show you the 7-day forecast right through the weekend coming up.
Thank you, Mike. We're learning more about the 41-year-old man who died in a house fire last night in St. Joseph Township. Witnesses tell us Anthony Larata risked his life to save his 6 rescue animals inside the burning home, 5 of which were later found dead. News Center 16's Kofo Lasaki spoke to family members who returned to the home today. So, Kofo, what'd they have to say?
Mo, they tell me Anthony Larata loved his family. He leaves behind a wife and daughter in college, neither of whom were home when the fire broke out. Monday afternoon around 6 o'clock, St. Joseph Township firefighters worked to tackle a house fire on Wedgwood Road, a blaze which 41-year-old Anthony Larata would not survive. Just one day later, family members and close friends helped to get what belongings they could salvage from the debris, but say most of their things were lost. A Michigan State Police investigator says the fire started in the garage and moved into the house. Witnesses tell police they saw Larata on the back deck. They believe at some point he went back into the home to save his pets. Firefighters would later find Larata's body in the hallway. As for the pets, Larata had 5 rescue dogs, all of which died in the fire, and 1 cat who is believed to have escaped. Family members say Larata owned a business in Benton Harbor and was an avid pool player. They describe him as a family man. And police say the investigation has wrapped up, and right now they're just waiting for the report from the fire marshal to determine how the fire started.
Very sad. So have they talked about the cause of death?
Well, Mo, right now they're saying that the autopsy will take about 6 to 8 weeks to get back, but as of right now, they don't believe that there's anything suspicious about the fire.
Okay. Thanks, Kofo.
A ceremony was held today in Elkhart County to show the accomplishments of the community coming together to help children and teens. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was for Basher Children's Home's new 24-hour emergency shelter to help homeless youth. First Source Bank presented a $10,000 check for the effort. It's part of a $100,000 effort by the community to renovate the home on Basher's property. The shelter has 5 bedrooms and can house up to 12 kids. Now, teens who will live at the home will be fed and go through a variety of programs.
That's our goal, is to let these kids know you're welcome to come and we will help you become productive citizens. You don't have to hide out anymore. You don't have to keep running. You can just come and say, help me. And we will. We don't judge.
Basher estimates that they will take in 125 kids a year. The plan is to have it up and running in April.
Still ahead, today may be the last time we see the sunshine for a couple of days. Mike has our Storm Team 16 forecast after the break.
Plus, firefighter training is pretty hard, but 2 local mayors decided they wanted to be put to the test. Did they meet the challenge? Find out just ahead.
Tracking inconvenient weather where you live. Storm Team 16 is your weather authority.
And another statewide test across Indiana for the tornado sirens are going to that's going to occur at about 7:35 p.m. You should hear them blaring unless you're not close enough to a tornado siren, but most people are, especially if you're outdoors. If you're indoors with the windows closed, that doesn't always occur. But it is a good time to review the safety plan with your family. And real briefly, in your home, you need to go to the lowest level, preferably the basement, but if not, the first floor. If you're on the first floor, then you stay away from windows, get into a small room or closet. And it's preferable to get under something heavy if possible, especially if you go to the basement, because there aren't too many walls in the basement. And so it is good to get under something like the stairwell is a good place, or a workbench or something like that. Those are the best safety rules. I have more information on my Facebook page and the WNDU Facebook page. There's our Mishawaka sky view. Look how beautiful it is out there. Still 64 degrees. That's a live picture from the St. Joseph Health System on the north side of town. Winds are west to southwesterly at 22, so a little bit on the breezy side, but at least mild, with temperatures everywhere in the middle 60s and nice and dry. 16 Doppler max showing that, nothing going on. Satellite radar combination shows that you might have seen some sprinkles in southwest Michigan earlier today, but then we got this hole in the clouds, which gave us all that sunshine this afternoon. Here's what the future looks like with 16 future tracks. Stationary front to the north will still give a slight chance of a shower after midnight tonight and again during the day tomorrow, especially in our northern areas. Watch the time under the line there as we head through the day tomorrow. There is a little better chance for showers north of US 6 during the afternoon and into the evening hours. And then as we head through tomorrow night, there's a better chance for showers everywhere, although still the better chances farther north. Widespread heavy snows across much of southern Minnesota, central Wisconsin, into northern Michigan. So if you're traveling north over the next couple of days, you'll be running into that. But we are going to see a line of showers and perhaps thunderstorms comes through late tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday. Then the cold front sweeps in, and that's the end of the mild air for at least a day or so. And you can see scattered showers, maybe mixing with snow showers as we head through Thursday afternoon. But after that, everything moves off to the east, and Friday, while chillier, will at least feature partly sunny skies. Here's my Storm Team 16 forecast for all of Michiana for tonight. Variably cloudy and mild, maybe a spotty shower in northern areas after midnight, low down to 48. And then the 7-day planning forecast, a yellow day tomorrow, but most of the day will be dry. Rainiest time will be tomorrow night, could get a thunderstorm, and then the rain showers could end as snow showers Thursday. Saturday's not looking bad, 57. Easter Sunday high around 50 with a chance for a couple of showers. Not the best Easter, but it's been worse in the past.
Not a washout.
No.
Okay, Mike, thanks a lot. Well, more to come. One man's story made for a perfect ending at today's Logan Luncheon.
Plus, not one, not two, but a hat trick of Notre Dame teams in the Sweet 16. Hear from the Irish Icers as they gear up for their tournament run.
Welcome back. This afternoon, I had the pleasure of meeting Heath White, his wife, and his daughter Paisley, this year's featured guests at the 28th annual Great Logan Nose On Luncheon at Century Center. Over 1,000 people gathered to support the organization, shattering attendance records and raising more money than ever before. But what truly touched our hearts today was Heath White's story. Back in 2007, White's unborn daughter was diagnosed with Down syndrome, something he did not want to accept. And it took until she was 3 months old when he realized his idea of perfect was all wrong.
Perfection now for me has become less of an objective standard and more of a subjective standard. Kid that Paisley's taught me more than anybody in my life has taught me, and that she chose to have Down syndrome because she knew that was the only way to reach somebody as hard-headed as me.
An ultra-marathon runner himself, Heath decided to start running marathons with Paisley to show his pride for his daughter. Together, they've completed more than 300 miles. And my thanks to Logan for asking me to MC the event for the 28th year in a row.
The new South Bend Fire Training Center has been a great facility for recruits to get ready for real-life scenarios, but they're not the only ones. 2 local mayors got in on the action this morning. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg and LaPorte Mayor Blair Milo wanted to get a first-hand appreciation for what the recruits go through. So they spent the morning doing bodyweight activities, carrying hoses, dragging weights, and a lot more. What was the hardest part?
I got to tell you, pulling that hose, it doesn't look like much, but that is a lot of hose and the metal coupling. So there was an evolution where you had to get that across the floor and back.
Oh, I think that the burpees towards the end got a little excessive, but it was a good workout, and it's good to press yourself towards it.
Well, in addition to South Bend recruits, there are also recruits from LaPorte and Michigan City, and that's why Mayor Milo was there. Both say they look forward to seeing them graduate in June. All right, Shaun Gallagher joins us now, and we all know that the men and women's basketball teams have already earned their way to the Sweet 16, but they're not the only Irish team that's in that position in the tournament.
Yeah, that's for sure. Friday going to be a big day for a lot of Irish teams. Both the men and women's basketball teams going to take to the hardwood. Then also the Irish hockey team are going to make their trek towards the Frozen Four. And to quote 2 songbirds of this generation in Drake and Future, what a time to be alive for Irish fans. They got 3 really big teams in the running for a national championship ring. And we start with the Irish Icers, who are the first of 3 teams playing on Friday. Now, they were bounced from the Hockey East tournament in a 6-4 loss to Northeastern University in their last time out, but the time off has let them clear their minds and get right for their next matchup against a familiar foe in Michigan. Now, the two haven't faced each other since the 2012-2013 season, since Michigan went to the Big Ten, but for this Irish squad, they're looking forward to reigniting that rivalry.
The rivalry with Michigan, obviously, no matter what sport it is, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, yeah, it's obviously fun, and it gets guys excited because it's a familiar foe for not only the seniors, but just looking back at guys that haven't played against them in years past. It's just an Irish Wolverine rivalry that has been going on for many years. So, I mean, it's not very hard to get up for this game. And I mean, it's the NCAA tournament, so if you're not ready for it, then I don't know why you're playing hockey.
Now to the men's basketball team. They were a big part of one of the wildest first weekends in NCAA tournament history, and they're on the positive end of that history thanks to Rex Pfluger's last-second tip-in against Stephen F. Austin. But their next opponent, Wisconsin, no stranger to big-time buzzer beaters themselves after Bronson Koenig's dagger corner 3. But the Irish know they can out-tough anyone on the court.
I know we may be rated 16th in the power ratings, but we're the toughest team remaining. We are the most mentally tough team in this tournament. And not only did we show it in Brooklyn, we've showed it in a lot of our big wins. We're the toughest group alive, and I think that can really help us moving forward.
We played through the ACC, and you see that there's 6 teams still remaining, so it shows that our conference is really, really good, and it's better than a lot of people thought. And I think that toughness, just overall competing in those games, are going to help us.
And the Irish women punched their Sweet 16 ticket last night against IU. Irish led by 10 at the half, but the Hoosiers keeping it close in the third, cutting the deficit to 2 with just under 3 to go in the quarter. But Lindsey Allen dominated in this one, first tipping the pass for the steal and setting up Arike Ogunbowale. And then off of the very next inbound, she forced another steal, and then she gets the layup to fall. She finished with a game-high 22 as the Irish win by 17, advancing to the Sweet 16 for the 7th straight season.
Yeah, a lot of people take it for granted, but nobody in our locker room, and I think our fans have been great too. I mean, they were tremendous today. The crowd was superb. I thought that really helped us.
I think we've been there so many times that it may not feel as good to get there because, you know, we've done it so many times, but I think we definitely need to cherish it because when you think about it, only 16 teams get there every year.
It was a very tough game tonight, but we made runs when we had to. We got stops when we had to, and I think we just played together as a team. We stuck to our game plan.
So full slate of games on Friday. We have hockey at 5:30 against Michigan, men's basketball 7:27 against Wisconsin, then the nightcap, women's basketball at 9 against Stanford.
Sounds like you don't make any plans except to watch TV
Yeah,
Friday night.
that's for sure. A lot of basketball and hockey.
Okay.
Thanks, Shaun.
Coming up, the Easter Bunny arrived early for kids who don't usually get to participate in the traditional egg hunts.
How the Bomb Squad helped out a couple dozen kids with special needs. Next. Well, a special project out of California has designed an Easter egg hunt to let visually impaired kids participate in some spring holiday fun.
Can't use their eyes, so they use their ears. Children honed in on the beeping to find the eggs, which were exchanged for treats. Money for the beeping eggs was provided by local businesses, but it was a Bakersfield officer who came up with the concept, and with some from the Bob Squad, they came up with the beeping eggs. They'd like something similar, but for visually impaired kids next year. What a wonderful idea.
That is awesome.
It is.
And we're heading toward Easter here.
Yep.
It's early this year, obviously, but once in a while it does occur in March like this, and that's coming on Sunday, so you can see a chance for a couple of showers. It won't be a washout, but nonetheless a little bit on the chilly side. In the meantime, very mild air out there. Only a slight chance of a shower through the day tomorrow. A better chance tomorrow night, maybe a thunderstorm tomorrow night, and then on Thursday the rain showers may end as some snow showers. But you'll notice Saturday, partly sunny, 57. That won't be a bad day to get outdoors.
Not at all. Thanks for joining us tonight.
We'll see you back here tonight at 11.